And good evening, everyone. ESS Empire State Sports proudly presents the Wise Guys Sports Talk Show. Your host tonight, Joey Ree, I'm Dave Bartlett, myself, Pete Goslaw, and a very, very special guest tonight, Section 10 official, Owen Luckie. Owen, welcome to the program.
Great to be here.
I'm going to throw it over to Joey. I just want to really thank you for being here. I hopefully we use this time to show everybody out there the importance, number one, of officials. Number two, how much we really need them because we have a shortage of them. And we'll talk about that during the course of our time. But for now, I'm going to throw it over to Joey.
All right, Owen, this is awesome. It's funny because I just bumped into Owen Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Yeah, AD meeting. So just 5 days ago. And here we are 5 days later. I mentioned the show to him. Yeah, I'd love to come on. And here we are. And Pete already brought up really, I'm not going to say it's the main reason, Owen, because we certainly want you to tell your story. And we know that you have big plans for yourself or big dreams for yourself when it comes to officiating. But obviously, one of the major issues right now in Section 10, in New York State, in nationwide is lack of officials. But let's save that for later, and let's talk about you right now. Why don't you give us a little idea, give our people a little idea. It's not too often that we have officials on. A little bit of your background, the sports you grew up, you played growing up, maybe some of the people that you played for that inspired you. And what led you into officiating at this point in your life?
Well, I started playing basketball, baseball, football. I've reffed two of those three. Never did football. Did soccer somehow because they were short too. Started playing when I was younger. I think I started refereeing basketball and umpiring baseball when I was 12 or 13 years old. Just the kids that were younger than me at that time. And I fell in love with it then. I loved baseball at that time and just started doing more basketball. Coaching wise, obviously Bill Myrna had a huge impact on me. Mark Henry, the same. We think a little different now, referee and coaching wise, but he's still been a great mentor to me and a great friend. Played basketball a year at SUNY Canton, umpired baseball, transferred to Cortland, and that's when I really started getting into basketball more and doing high school and going to more camps in the summer. I think I was doing junior college games when I was 21, 22. Where did we go from there? I got in a couple Division III leagues. Went to a couple camps in the South, got in the Big South, smaller Division I, Division II league down there. And then I moved to New Jersey and got in with the NBA Replay Center. I did that for about 2 years, which was a great experience and learned a lot. I had no idea what I didn't know after being around those guys and women. And then I got into the referee development program with the NBA for the last 3 years. COVID kind of halted that a little bit. But I'm up here now. I'm going to relocate soon, I think, probably before next season. Just a little better opportunity down south for me right now.
Selfish.
All referees. Selfish.
Well, number one, if that's what's going to happen, Owen, that stinks for us, but that's great for you. And there's the three of us on this show. It's funny. We just had a show with Coach Jared Dumont, who had to make a tough decision and leave a very successful women's program to go over to the men's side at North Country Community College. Hey, that's his choice. People can ding on him all he wants, and we can do the same thing to you. You're doing what's best for you, and that's awesome. It stinks. I'm not going to lie, Owen, because you're one of the better ones that we got up here in Section 10, but if that's what's best for you, good for you. So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we move on. I want to dive a little bit deeper into first high school and college for you because, you mentioned the college that gets brought up all the time on this show, and SUNY Cortland. But before that, talk a little bit about Coach Myrna in your time in high school at OFA.
I mean, who else? No offense to you, Joey, but who else would you rather play for, or Coach Henry? But a Hall of Famer, one of the nicest guys I ever met in my life. I still have a great relationship with him. Once in a while, we'll get around to golfing. He really means a lot to me. He's done a lot for not only me, but everyone in Ogdensburg and the surrounding areas.
Not even just, I mean, Section 10, you know, like you said, he's a legend, a Hall of Famer. He's, you know, when I see him, he's, you know, we have conversations and yeah.
Yeah, the impact he's had on Ogdensburg is crazy.
Yep.
So your time at Cortland, I don't know if you already mentioned this, and I'm sorry if I missed it. What did you major in? What did you do in your time at Cortland? And anybody that might have impacted you there at that time?
I majored in sports management. That's what I was taking at SUNY Canton. Just kind of wanted to get out of the area for a couple of years. It ended up being a few years. They treated me very well down there. I think I was working varsity games first or second year. And I've made there, I mean, the relationships you make in refereeing, I'm very close with a lot of those guys still. One of the guys is one of my best friends now. He works at a golf course down there. He does some college basketball.
So you were reffing varsity basketball, high school varsity basketball during your junior and senior year at SUNY Cortland?
Correct. I was
Wow.
I did a couple JUCO games when I was in college still.
So as a 21-year-old, you've got JUCO games and varsity games.
That's rare in the Northeast. The South, whole different ball game. I think
Really?
they start doing college when they're in high school.
Really?
It's amazing.
Wow. I would have
So
never.
more-
Number one, I'm flabbergasted that you did that at this age up here, and you're telling me now they do this happens all the time down south.
It's very advanced down there. Very.
Wow.
They started early. They get them in intramurals, get them on the court, and here you go.
Wow.
Fast tracking them.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was life like in so Cortland section? That's the bottom of section 3, top of section 4.
Cortland's 3, but I was on the section 4 board.
Okay.
So not Homer. DeRuyter
Ithaca.
was on there. Ithaca was part of that.
Dryden.
Newfield. So it was good, and I was obviously young, so didn't know much. Learned a lot. Game's obviously slowed down a lot for me now since then, because I'm doing a big varsity game, not then, and it's, you know, I still treat it the same as I did then, but it was just much more game moving a lot faster. And that's
Right.
the thing with younger officials. You don't have it yet, and everything's moving a million miles an hour.
So, I mean, how was the progression at your age that you were able to get varsity level games, JUCO level games at your age? Because I mean, here we are, we're up here. It seems like I've seen modified guys that are in their mid 30s that are still reffing modified games in their mid 40s, but I've never. Is it your skill or is it the amount of time that you've served? I mean,
I started when I was 13 or 14, so I already gotten used to getting yelled at that age. The name definitely helps at the high school and the lower college level.
true.
And obviously I've had some great teaching with my father being a referee, and then my uncle Jamie, and there's Michael Luckie also, who does a lot of lower Division I level games, who's a very good referee. So I put myself around the right people, not only them, but it gets a lot easier when you're around the right people that know what they're doing. And Section 10 guys, I mean, I'd come home and work high school games up here on break. When you get with the right high school partners, Pat Farrell's another guy, Robbie Brown, Matt Caulfield, Lucas Smith, you get with those guys a couple times and you learn a lot. Just talk the game and referee the game with them, but then there's after, and the car rides back are usually pretty fun.
Yeah. While I'm suffering on the bus from the crappy calls you just made, you're having a good time in the car.
But that's the thing. I knew I was going to say something I shouldn't have said. That's the thing. We're probably talking about a block charge play that happened that put a third foul on your kid or something like that. People think referees don't care. They're just there to make $100. That's by far from the case.
Hey, we know that, and I know Pete and Dave are going to start jumping in here soon, but boy, nothing. As the athletic director, nothing kills me more than the thanks for that one, or call it both way. The old call it both ways. That one always kills me. Call it both ways. And I'm sure you guys listen to all this, talk about it, and process the game according to what the fans are saying to you, right, Owen?
Some people have rabbit ears. I tend to be one of those people. Not much impact on me, though.
Good.
You have to trust yourself and your gut. I mean, you're coaching, you want to win. Fans want to win. A little bias there. You just got to have self-confidence in yourself and not worry about what else is going on. And to call it both ways, I mean, you're not going to pass on illegal contact, but you try to pass on the marginal contacts on both ends. You want to match plays the best you can, and that's at all levels. And I think a lot of people don't understand that, because you're not going to be 100% right, but you're going to strive for consistency all night. And that's part of managing the game.
And I don't care what anybody says. That's a tough job. I mean, I played basketball since I was a little kid, and then anytime I've been asked to step in and referee a game, I can sit in the bleachers and I can see every call on the floor. But put me on the floor with a whistle in my hand, and nope.
Crazy. You'll sit in the bleachers and see all the travels, but you're right there and you miss 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. No, I am admittedly the worst basketball referee that there ever was. I'm terrible. And it started probably when I was young and getting yelled at and taking that to heart, and then not having any confidence going forward. And I haven't refereed a game in 40 years.
That's part of the problem. All these, I probably shouldn't say this, but I will. The lower you go, the worse the parents are, which amazes me.
Oh yeah.
It amazes
You
me.
mean the lower the level? What do you mean by
So
that?
you go from college to varsity to JV to modified to the little guys. The lower you go, the worse it is to do because of the parents. They should all go referee once in a while.
Totally agree. So Owen, sorry, Pete.
No, I was just going to totally agree with myself. I officiated. I officiated a baseball and basketball back in my day for about 12 years, off and on, mostly baseball. The kids aren't the problem.
Nope.
They really aren't. The kids will do what you're telling them to do, but the worst part about, even as a coach, and Joey can say this too, I coached for a number of years also, it's always the parents. They're always the parents. And I don't want to downgrade parents here, and I was one. You got to pull yourself back once in a while and just let the game flow. And it's kind of nice to hear from officials saying, we're not perfect. We're not going to catch everything. And the parents got to understand that too, but the parents, they don't see that. Like Dave said, we see everything up there. You guys get a little percentage of that court, and it's kind of tough to call a game.
Especially in these AAU games. You can't go out there and call 50 fouls. Like, are we there to win a trophy or have the kids get better at the end of the day? Or the players get better? And that's what I think people miss a lot. And I mean, these camps that I go to and these other guys go to, we're paying to attend to get better, you know? We're not there making $20, $25. We're trying to get better at our craft. So I think we need to do a better job of showing people that we're there for the players, for them to get better, especially in the summer.
It's funny you mentioned that one, because my time as a big time coach is starting to settle, and but I still do a little bit of AAU, and I'm going to Paul Smith's this weekend to play in an AAU tournament. And the first thing I'm going to tell the boys, I don't have any time to practice. We're going up there and winging it. If we're going up there and winging it, and we're going to bitch at officiating, then I'm taking them out the court and we're going home. We're not practicing. And these guys, you are going to show up on Saturday and ref 7 games in 7 hours.
Not me. I've done that too many times.
Yeah. And and Pete's done it too. I know he's done it. He's done it with a hangover. So I've seen it before. It's not pretty.
No.
But we need to realize these
With or without the
tournaments,
hangover, it's not pretty when Pete does.
That's true. No, I don't know about that, but it was terrible that day. But anyway,
these
that's a funny
AAU
story.
tournaments, we're asking guys to ref 6-7 games. We're asking basketball teams sometimes to play 3 games in a day. It just festers into a situation where it's if you don't have a calm coach, the parents feed off the coach, the kids feed off the coach. And if the coach is in a pissy mood and referee Owen Luckie's on his 7th game of the day, it just leads to a major fiasco. And I don't know if that's I don't know how that gets fixed, because that's usually the way it goes. We're trying to cram a team into 3 games in a day and referees into 8 games in a day. Well, what do you think's going to happen on teams game number 3 and referees game number 8? It's a lose-lose proposition.
Oh, okay. I'm sure you've had Scott Sargent on plenty of times. I've been with him on some of those days before when I was in college. I used to come back and do those, and he was always great. He would just coach, but he saw me at my best and my worst.
Well, and part of the reason I bring that up, Owen, is because one of the things I preached in AAU, number one, I'm not known for getting on referees. And when I do it, it's during the high school season. I have never argued in the AAU season. I'm like, this is our time to deal with adversity. I don't care if Owen made the wrong call. I don't care if Owen made the right call. I care about how we're reacting to it, because right now this does not matter to me. Yeah, we're trying to win the game, but I want everything that Owen can throw at me. Give me a bad call here and there so I can have my guys deal with adversity now, so that when I'm playing for a Class C championship game, I don't have to deal with it then. So I wish more coaches would understand that, but that's the problem with AAU. It's not the varsity coach coaching them all the time. It's
Right.
a parent. It's a parent who needs that AAU Brushton Moira Central tournament trophy. Got to have that T-shirt so I can post it on Facebook and let everybody know, And God knows I won that tournament and posted it on Facebook, but I did it, I would hope, in a classy way. So
I've rushed
talk a little bit about that, because I think that's a major issue for AAU basketball.
I've been seeing it. I see it down south more now than anything. But up here, I remember the coaches being all right for the most part. It's just these parents that think they know it all in the stands, yelling, screaming. You don't want to listen to that or deal with that. And then a lot of these videos you see are umpires and referees getting pushed or hit or into altercations at these tournaments. So why would anyone want to get involved in it? You got to be crazy. And I think it gets blown out of proportion a lot, but some of it is pretty serious. And as a person or a parent, I don't know how you could do that. Go down and push a referee because you just lost a T-ball game.
Yeah.
Owen,
Crazy.
quick question, Owen. Do you really think, in your opinion, that that's what's causing the shortage of officials now? Is that the gripes that they're getting from the parents or the crowd, or what do you think it is? Or do we losing the fact that the seniors are moving on and we got nobody to fill their shoes? I mean, I don't.
If you look at, even the Section 10 boards, any sport, the age difference is crazy. So in 5 years, where are we going to be if we don't get more people refereeing? I don't know what the reason is. If I had the answers, there'd be more people refereeing, and I wouldn't be here talking to you guys.
Right.
Be fixing a problem. Parents, maybe it's the pay, maybe it's being gone every night for whatever, 3-4 months. Because the college level, there's not a shortage, that I can tell you. So maybe it is the pay. And at the college level, it's all young men and women.
So let's just, I'm sorry, you want to?
Go ahead. No.
Do you want, so let's back up a second. Let's talk about the pay.
I'm not complaining about the pay.
Oh, no. You're a single guy, correct?
Yes.
Okay. When I was single and when I was officiating, you can make a living off of it. You really can. I mean, if you're doing it all year round, you can make a good living on this.
Right.
People think that they're overpaid and all this other stuff. I, for one, know exactly what you guys get paid, and plus the mileage. You put it down on paper, it's really not extravagant in the long run unless you're doing sports all year round. So I don't think people understand that most of the guys that are doing like basketball, they're doing just basketball. So they don't go on to the other sports. I don't know where I'm going with this, but do we need, is the same pay throughout all the sports, or is it through Section 10? I'm sure they're all paid the same. I don't know what the pay is. But
like some of the other sections are a little higher, but it's nothing astronomical. Bill Myrna's not going to like this, but I'm going to say it anyways. Basketball scrimmages, we don't make any money off of. We give that to the board, and it takes care of the signing fees. In the high school is not bad, but sometimes in college you can get 5 or 6 scrimmages and you're losing money every time. So I don't know if
they do that in college too.
The Division III level, it's pretty poor, and you got guys drive.
So Division III, you're donating your time. I mean, the money's probably going to your board, but you're donating your time at the Division III at the JUCO levels. I didn't know that.
Some guys, there's not a lot of college referees up here, so you'll have guys from Syracuse come up here to do a couple scrimmages. It's not worth it, but we do it anyways because it's got to be filled. So it's a yes.
Wow.
Again, not complaining about the pay at all, but it's a time versus money thing, and a lot of people have to make those decisions for themselves. A lot of people aren't single and have a family and kids, and they're gone 6 hours a day to go do that.
So you guys have a mandatory schedule or no?
Mandatory?
Yeah. Do they fill you whether you ask for? Well, how am I trying to word that?
You can block days, but if you get a game, you're expected to take it.
Okay. All right, I'm not trying to sound down on anybody. I'm trying to get all the information out there so we can educate people and saying, listen, we need officials. We need them badly. And if I don't know where the answer is.
COVID didn't help at all. We lost some better referees due to COVID. They had their reasons, obviously not to wear the mask. Hopefully they come back because the board needs them and they're good referees. But that hasn't helped.
And it seems like a lot of senior officials have stepped down in the last couple of years also. Seems like they're getting away from the game, so which it leaves the door open. Now you're talking about some of the guys you were hanging with up there, Farrell and all those other guys, and they're all senior men now. And so now we got to bring the new blood in and say, like Joey said earlier, it's tough to find people that are interested.
Yeah, if you look, there's not a lot of 20, 30-year-olds. So where are we going to be in 5 years? You're going to be lucky to be playing some of these games. And that's just the truth at the moment.
Oh, and I get laughed at. And ridiculed for even mentioning that in my school district. They don't bring up negative things. Look, I'm just trying to tell you the truth here. They think I'm making it up to try to get our fans to act a little better. And I say this, if any St. Lawrence Central fan is watching, I think we really do. We have some of the better fans in the section, but I still have to portray to them, we can't act this way. You and everybody that acts this way is killing sports, whether you think so or not. And the problem is, Owen, is that the varsity game will get played. They'll find but the modified and JV level, I'm moving games all over the place because, hey, we don't have an official for this game. And they're thinking I'm moving it. Oh, we don't have a bus driver. Well, that's also another issue. We don't have bus drivers. Or, the weather. It's the wet. No, it's not weather related. No, I don't have an official. This is why we're moving it. And pretty soon we're going to be playing on Sundays. That's what's going to happen. We're going to be playing on Saturday and Sundays all the time. And guess who doesn't like to coach on Saturday and Sunday? Modified coaches. They hate it. So it's such a fine line that we're dealing with to try to get people to understand where we're at with the lack of officials.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being the basketball assigner. I wish he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he's not too bright, is he?
I wouldn't want that job. Something's got to change. If there's anyone in St. Lawrence Central watching, we definitely need referees up there.
Well,
the relationships you make in refereeing any sport is the biggest thing to me. It really is. Go ahead.
Would you agree that and Pete's done some coaching, and I know Dave has watched enough sports at all levels in all sports would you agree referees can deal even with the toughest coaches, the coaches that are just relentless, but when the fan interaction becomes just crossing the line? Because I guess what I'm getting at is that if a referee really is controlling the game, he has control over an official by being able to you can assess a technical foul in a basketball game. You can throw him out in a baseball game. You can, toss him out and all the other, you can toss him out. But
the fans don't do anything. They yell, but are they going to have an impact? No.
But
you're just sitting there thinking to yourself, like, what is wrong with you?
Granted, I totally understand, because you're now in the field and you understand I'm focused on the game and in the coaches. But do you think that their interaction is keeping young guys like yourself and younger guys like, oh my God, I don't, because they don't know that, Owen, you're in now and you've learned that, hey, those guys, the fans are not my problem. I'm going to deal with the coaches and the players. But the kids don't see that. They see how the fans are acting in the stands going, I don't want to deal with that. Do you think that has a part in it?
It's more of a headache than anything. Like you said, I've been there and dealt with it, and I know there's not usually many fans in the gym that know more than me about refereeing or anything to do with sports or umpiring. Obviously, there's a lot of veterans on the Section 10 board that know that. But as a younger official, definitely, I thought completely different. And it's hard to get that confidence when you think you're wrong on every whistle. You're getting booed or yelled at or ran out of the gym. I've had all those happen to me when I was younger. That happens once in a while now. Just I deal with it a little bit differently. It's not as bad as it looks. Some people, can I swear on this show?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Some people like to play asshole, and I can be one of those guys when I need to.
Well, I've seen you do it. So.
And then it's over. What happens in the game is done with and over and on to the next one. I've had interactions with plenty of coaches where we still have a great relationship after, no matter what happens.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's a game, and we move on. And if we're friends, we're friends. If not, I'll see you next time. And hopefully we can improve our relationship.
I've done a lot of games, broadcast a lot of games in other sections. There's nothing like Section 10. Even if we're at each other's throats a little bit during a game, we're all hanging out afterwards. It's totally a different section up here. People don't understand that because I've seen it down here where I am. I'll do a Lake George game, and they want to kill each other, and they'll follow each other in the parking lot. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, I'm talking about coaches and officials. I never saw that happen up in Section 10. I never have, and I'm thankful for that because I think we're just a little bit different up home than in other sections. Do you see that also?
Yeah, I did a regional game with a couple of guys in Albany, and great game. I think it was double overtime, and of course the team that lost, I mean, we got ran to the locker room basically by the fans, not the coaches, not the players, but it was the fans, the parents. And it was just sad. Like, great game. Did a good job, we thought. We're getting crap for every whistle both ways, so it's like perfect. But it was, what are you doing? You lost, sorry. You're not going to win the state championship. It's people care a lot. It's huge. High school basketball up here is huge. It's about the kids, not about the parents winning the state title at the end of the day.
So I guess I would come to that point where I might as well ask you this: where do you see yourself in the future? Because you just said that you're possibly moving out of the area to better yourself. So what long term do you want to? Where do you see yourself?
I'll probably be North Carolina area. A lot of schools down there. A little better opportunity for me. Still kind of in with the NBA, so I'll attend their camps next year. Nothing really happened this summer. Hopefully I get some more college games when I get to Charlotte before October.
So you're looking at D1 schools eventually, and then possibly moving on NBA?
Yeah, so the college and the NBA are kind of separate. So you just get on a route and you go with whoever likes you, whatever's going on. A lot of guys try and do both and get involved with both and move up in both. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, I was at a camp 2 weeks ago. There's 100 guys there, and this guy has 3 or 4 camps, and they're all filled with a waiting list, 100 guys behind them. So wow. It's very, very competitive at the college level and NBA level, obviously.
So I got a question, just curiosity. When, other than the quickness, what what's the big difference between, like reffing in high school, reffing in junior college, reffing in D3? Because I noticed, I mean, for me as a player, moving from high school to junior college, it took me a little while to adjust just to the quickness of everybody. Is that the biggest difference, or is there something else that we don't see as from the refereeing aspect?
Up here, we see it because it's size. When you get to those bigger cities, obviously those high school kids, they're Division I level, so it matches itself up. Big thing I would say would be the coaches, because those guys are fighting for their jobs half the time. They gotta win. I mean, some schools you get in, you're good, but a lot of them are fighting for their jobs. And the interactions with the coaches. Don't take this the wrong way, Joey, but sometimes they're a little more intelligent. Not with everybody.
Who's more intelligent? Why are you worried about me?
I wasn't saying it about you.
Okay, I know that, but
I told you I'd say some things I shouldn't say.
you're talking to the 5-time sportsmanship award winner. I mean, I'm the best guy you're ever going to officiate for.
Go ahead.
Hey, so before we wrap this up, and this has been so informative. Number one, you kind of brushed upon it, but you need to talk a little bit about the family. You need to talk a little bit about how Dad has helped you out, and then obviously you got Uncle Jamie, who you graciously gave me his phone number, and I've already chatted with him, and we've tied him up for he's going to come on next week.
I'm glad I was on first.
Yeah, so you'll be able to say, "Hey, Uncle Jamie, Dad and I got on before you did."
I know.
But obviously, to the people that are watching this show, I mean, when we get Jamie Luckie on, we're talking about a guy that's a top D1 official for a long time, and we'll look forward to that day. But we'll look forward to that show. But talk a little bit about the impact that the two of those men have had in your life.
I mean, obviously a huge amount, especially just with refereeing wise. I mean, because growing up, I always used to go watch my dad, high school, Division III. And then if Jamie was in Syracuse or elsewhere, we would try to go and watch that. And my dad's a little harder on me than Jamie ever was, but if I was doing something wrong, Jamie's by me, he would say something. If he wasn't around me, he would just let me go, and we would talk just like any normal uncle nephew relationship. Guys ask me all the time about mine and Jamie's conversations, or Michael's or my dad's, and it's not about refereeing, it's about life or something else. He likes to get away from it a little bit, I think, and because he's been on the big stage, he's done it all. He's had a great career that's really hard to do. He's been one of the best. He's one of the best teachers. He's the best with the clocks in the country. That I know. And then my dad, obviously, just the same. He's always just been good to roll things off of and try different things around. That's a lot of people don't understand that. It's not just me and my dad and my uncle, but you talk to these other referees and you're throwing things out there of what we could have done differently or how we could have handled the situation. And then Michael Luckie, who's technically my uncle, but he's closer to my brother. I lived by him for 4 or 5 years, and we watched a lot of games together, and he's doing well for himself. And then a guy that we haven't talked about is Nate Farrell, who's also an Ogdensburg legend, who's having a great career also. And he's been very good to me.
One thing we haven't asked, and I guess I'll be the guy to ask, is can you name one game or instance that you had a bad experience with as far as officiating? Try not to label any names, but we know how it goes.
No names. There's one thing I can think of. I was young. I was probably 23, 24, and I'm in the lead. So I'm at the baseline. This is a college game. The ball's coming up the backcourt, and we don't verbally count in college, 10-second count. So I'm looking at the shot clock, and I see 18 on it. So I'm thinking, we just missed a 10-second call. So I blow my whistle from 50 feet away, 10 seconds. This guy loses his mind. I don't know. I was sure he was not across half court. So I get a call. I'm not even in my car yet. I get a call from the supervisor. He said, "What the hell are you doing?" And I watched the play, and it wasn't even close. It was one of those moments where you kind of black out and say, "What are you doing?" Like I said, I was younger. I didn't know much then. That's the one thing I can think of.
I can see that.
I had Joey at Madrid, and I think they lost, and I don't think I did a very good job that night either.
Yes, I knew it.
It was Owen's fault. Yeah.
AJ wins again because he's got all you guys in his back pocket.
I think I yelled at him that game if he's watching.
It's never good enough. Ring him up. Ring him
him
up.
You guys know I'm not scared to do that.
Well, I mean, Owen, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I love it when I see that you're going to be on a game because I know mechanically things are going to be done the right way. And for a young guy, complete control of the game as far as I'm concerned. So I was always happy to see that you were going to be on a game. The fact that we got to see you do some college games, and I saw you do more than one. You did one that we broadcast last year at North Country, and I saw you again somewhere along the lines. But I know I saw you again, and I just think your demeanor, everything. You're just like your dad. You're just like your uncle. You're going to be fine. And obviously you got a passion for it and you have the right personality for it. So
I don't know if it was Pete or Dave, but they said like after the game's up, section 10 is different than everybody else. And after the game's up here, you can go do whatever, hang out. The refereeing is very good up here. That I can tell you. There are some good guys and females up here. I'd work a lot of college games with a lot of the guys up here. That's just my opinion.
No, well, your opinion, right? It's right because we all go to Glens Falls for high school state championships, and there I am having Kool-Aids with Matt Caulfield and Stoney and Robbie Brown and Brian Fairchild and all these guys, and you go, well, these are the officials that ref your games. Why would you want to hate? They're good guys. I mean, people, you want to be friends with these guys, and I'm not looking to be friends with you because I'm angling. I'm looking to be friends with you because it's about the camaraderie that we all feel as coaches, as referees, as announcers. That Section 10 has got something that I don't think anybody else has, because it's just perfect. It's just perfect with the amount of people, the amount of schools, the amount of people that are involved. So
good people.
Yeah, I totally agree.
End of the day in this world, that's what the big thing is, I think.
I wish we all had that point of view, man. And I think there's more of us that do than don't. It's just that it always comes down to the 5%.
Yep.
Seems like the 5% ruin it for everybody else. And hopefully hopefully we can change that. And Owen, wherever you end up, man, we wish you the best. And this has been a great show. It's exactly what Pete, Dave, and I were hoping for. You gave us a lot of information. We're hoping that some people will watch this, and maybe we get some younger kids that played the sport of basketball that'll, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to dive into officiating because it's needed right now.
It's a great way to make money when you're in college.
Absolutely right about that. I think that's something that NISFA has mentioned. I hate to use it. It's such a harsh term, but last week at our AD meeting, they called it a state of emergency when it comes to officiating, especially when it comes to the JV and modified level, because, and you know this, we're going to play the varsity games. We'll move a modified official that's not even ready up to a varsity game if it means getting that varsity game in. But what's that cause? Nobody for that modified game. So who's perfect for those modified games? College kids. Absolutely. So what modified game I think is $66 before mileage. That's a pretty good that's a night at McDuff's for you, Owen.
No, I'll be at the bowling alley.
Bowling alley, whatever.
Ogdensburg.
That's all the Miller Lite.
I'll give them some free advertising. Thanks, guys.
No,
well, Owen, thank you. I'll let Pete close this up, but thank you, man. We appreciate you coming on. We thank you for the connection with Uncle Jamie. As of right now, Uncle Jamie's going to come on a week from now, and Pete, Dave, and I will certainly look forward to that. And we will thank you during that show for giving us that opportunity to talk to a D1 college official.
He'll show up.
Well, Owen, thank you very much for coming on our show. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing what you're going to do, and we give you our best wishes on moving forward and whatever you do.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
That's going to be it here tonight on Empire State Sports ESS and the Wise Guy Sports Talk Show for Joey Reel, Pete Goslaw, and Dave Bartlett, and our special guest Owen Luckie. Good night, everybody, and stay safe.